Hello, welcome to this video tutorial for PolyPin. In this video we're going to take a very quick look at the MIDI version of PolyPin. So the PolyPin comes with different versions for different controllers. There's a push version, a launchpad, and there will be a launchpad pro version soon. But all the arcade devices will have a standalone MIDI version, which means you can just use it either by using mouse clicks or with a standard MIDI controller. There's not much difference with the device itself compared to the other versions, so you do need to check the other videos to see how the actual device works, and also check the manual out as well for the detailed descriptions of all the parameters. There is one difference with the MIDI version, and it's this extra number box here. What this allows you to do is it lets you set which notes in your keyboard or your MIDI controller perform what function. So the main thing with PolyPin is that we trigger sequences. We press a button or a pad and the sequencer starts. So by default, how the MIDI version works is the note that you've set the sequence to. So there's 8 sequences. We can have C1 here, C sharp 1, C D1. If we have C1 here, then C1 on your keyboard will trigger this sequence. So if I play this now and trigger, I'm using the MPD, and this pad is set to C1. It starts this sequence, and we can see it's going around here. And if we re-trigger, it's re-triggering it, and it's quantized to 16th notes, which the sequencer is running at. And then if I choose the next one, which is C sharp 1, and then the third one, and the fourth, okay, so these pads are controlling the start of the sequencers. You only have 8 sequencer engines in PolyPin, so I quite like using the MPD controller because you have 8 pads here. The other thing you'll probably want to do, though, performance-wise, is maybe stop the sequence or stop a sequence, but also you may want to bring sequences in armed. So these buttons here, as well as showing you which sequences are running, they also let you turn a sequencer off, like so. But they also arm a sequence, and what arming does is if a sequence is playing, and we arm this one, it waited until the next bar until it started. So it's a more a tighter way of bringing in your sequences, a little bit like how clips work in live if you've got your global quantize set to a bar. So what you can do is I could use the top row buttons to control the arm buttons. So if I want these to represent the arm buttons, what this number here does is it says how many notes above the sequencer note should the arm button link to. So in this situation, my note is C1, and I've set 8 as the value, and it means the note that's 8 notes above C1, which is this one here, represents the arm button. If you're using a keyboard, you maybe want to set this to 12. That would mean if this was set to C1, then C2 would be the arm button. C1 would let you trigger the sequence, C2 would let you turn it off or arm it so that it's quantized. But because I'm using the MPD, it makes sense to set it to 8, therefore I've got like a mirror image almost of the sequencer starts and the arm button. So I can do this. Let's arm this sequence. It's probably worth mentioning as well that the velocity control for the rate of the sequencer can still be triggered by by taking this off, and now the sequencer will respond to velocity to control how fast it runs. And again, we can choose whether the rates will be forced into dotted, whole or triplets.